Just going to give a second for folks to get in the room, but I will get started with our housekeeping because many of you have probably already heard it. So welcome. You are in the Verizon Small Business Digital Ready, How to Sell and Market Online session right now. I'm Nikki Powis with NDI. As a reminder, if you want those captions to be turned on, you can click the CC button at the bottom of your Zoom screen. You can also access the captions in English or Spanish via stream text by clicking the link that is in the chat box. If you have questions for the presenters, and this is important, please use that Q&A button, not the chat. The chat is there for you to share who you are, where you're coming from, chat to other people in there. But if it gets very busy and we will lose your important questions if it goes into the chat. So keep it in the Q&A, please. You can also use that Q&A box if you have any technical difficulties, or alternatively, you can click on the live chat button in the menu bar and use the technical support chat room. If neither of those are working for you, then you can also email us at info@disabilitysmallbusiness.org for assistance. Slides that you're going to be seeing can be found on the session link with the live events page, and you can download those yourself if you'd like to. And so that will be there. Well, with all of that, I am delighted. We have two wonderful people with us today. First, Melinda Emerson, aka Small Biz Lady, and CEO of Quintessence Group. She's a best-selling author, a podcaster. Melinda is passionate about online marketing, and in this practical session, she's going to share how to attract and convert customers through smart digital marketing. Additionally, Katie Davis, who is an associate director for small business and workforce development with Verizon, is going to provide a brief overview of the Verizon Small Business Digital Ready platform, which I have to say is amazing. And if you don't already know about it and you haven't signed up, then do that. But I'm going to turn it over to Katie.
Thank you so much, Nikki, and hi, everyone. As Nikki said, my name is Katie Davis. And I lead the Small Business Digital Ready program at Verizon. And I'm going to take just a few minutes to tell you about all of the free resources that Verizon has to offer for small business owners before quickly turning it over to Melinda for the heart of this workshop. If you could go to the next slide, please. So in 2020, Verizon made a commitment that by 2030, we would support 1 million small businesses with resources to help you thrive in the digital economy. So we know that technology can be a really big enabler for small businesses. It can create new markets for you. It can grow your customer base. It can save you time, which we are well aware is the most precious thing for small business owners. But it can also be one more thing on an already very full plate for small business owners. And so we created this resource called Small Business Digital Ready, really to help small businesses take advantage of the benefits of technology in a way that is really approachable and really applicable, and can help you reap those benefits without overburdening your already busy day. If you go to the next slide. So Small Business Digital Ready is a free online resource platform created for small businesses in partnership with small businesses. So again, the platform is completely free. You do not have to be a Verizon customer to take advantage of it. This is just part of Verizon's responsible business initiatives. And you can see on the right side, there are 4 key components of the program. We have online learning courses, virtual events led by experts, opportunities for in-person and online networking, and we periodically provide $10,000 grants that are exclusive to Digital Ready users. If you go to the next slide. So I'm not going to go into all of those resources in detail, but I want to tell you a little bit about each one. So our courses are quite short. They're 10 to 30 minutes and available on demand. They use a variety of formats. They cross a wide range of topics. There's a heavy focus on technology adoption, things like digital marketing, social media, AI, and how that can help your small business. But we also have some foundational topics around finance and wellness and other topics like that that we have heard are really critical to small business owner success. And the last thing I want to tell you about our courses is they are all taught by individuals who themselves are small business owners. So you're going to hear in a minute from Melinda, who is one of our digital ready instructors, and herself has grown businesses. I don't know if Melinda's still a small business because she's kind of big time now, but she certainly started as a small business owner. And so all of this content is not coming from Verizon, the big corporation, but instead it is being presented by individuals who themselves have been entrepreneurs, who know the journey, and who can present the information in a way that's really applicable to small business owners. And the last thing I'll say here is about half of our courses are also available in Spanish. And another subset, about a quarter, have Chinese subtitles as well. If you go to the next slide, please. We also have a full calendar of virtual events. Ask the Expert sessions are basically traditional webinar style sessions. Then we have another event type called Hands-on Help, where you actually get paired one-on-one or in a very small group with an expert and spend 2 hours working on an aspect of your business. So these are really hands-on working sessions. You can see on the slide, there's a event titled What Goes into a Marketing Plan. So if you were to sign up and join that event, you would be paired with a marketing expert who would talk to you about your actual marketing plan. So you have to come to these ready to work, but you have a really tangible outcome at the end. If you go to the next slide. I mentioned we have a range of in-person and online networking events. We think it's really important. We've heard from you all that it's really important to have community as a small business owner. And if you go to the next slide, we also offer discounted products from Verizon and our partners. We have a funding marketplace to help connect small business owners to different capital offerings. And as I mentioned, we provide the opportunity to apply for $10,000 grants periodically throughout the year. We do have a $10,000 grant opportunity open currently. It closes on December 10th. And to be eligible to apply, you have to register for Small Business Digital Ready if you have not already, and complete 2 resources from July of this year through the deadline. If you go to the next slide. Next slide. Thanks. So this is just a really quick snapshot of the impact that we've had so far with Digital Ready. Slide is actually a little bit old. We have now crossed 500,000 small businesses served. So over 500,000 small businesses, halfway to that goal of supporting 1 million businesses. We've given out nearly $14 million in grant funding. And most importantly, at the bottom of this slide, we ask our users every year how Digital Ready is actually impacting their business. And 72% in our most recent impact survey said Digital Ready has helped them grow their professional network. And another 2/3 have said that Digital Ready helps them grow their revenue or their profitability. So we built this, not just to say we built it and put resources out into the world, but really to have impact and really drive outcomes for small businesses. And so we're proud to see that that's happening. If you go to the next slide. Just one other initiative that I will briefly call to your attention, and this is new. So some of you may have heard the Digital Ready spiel before, or you may be members of Digital Ready already. But this initiative is brand new. And earlier this year, Verizon made a commitment that over the next 5 years, so by 2030, Verizon will invest $5 billion with a B with small businesses as suppliers. So that is not grants, that is contracts. And so we are building a whole program to help support small business suppliers to be prepared to participate in Verizon supply chain or the supply chain of other large companies. So there's going to be tools and trainings and very specific opportunities created to help build that pipeline. If you go to the next slide. This is a quick QR code, and we can send the link and share it another way as well, that if you want to stay in the know about the developments for the supplier program, you can scan this QR code here. And this is a different QR code than the regular Digital Ready link that I see being shared in the chat. And if you go to the next slide, this QR code is the same link that has been shared in the chat, and just shows you, if you scan this QR code, it will take you to the Digital Ready landing page. If you have not registered already, you can look around, see what resources we have to offer. It takes about 1 minute to register, and then you have access to all of those resources that I just described. And again, it's completely free and open to any small business owner. And with that, I think that was my last slide. So with that, I am going to hand it over to Melinda Emerson, the small biz lady. Melinda has a number of courses on the Digital Ready platform. She does live in-person workshops for us around the country. She is amazing and dynamic, and you guys are in for a real treat with this workshop. So with that, I will hand it to Melinda.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. I have been a part of the Verizon Digital Ready platform since it started, and I actually have 8 courses on the platform, all in marketing. So if you need some support with the marketing, that's what I want to direct you to. The other thing I want to point out too is that in order to qualify for one of the grants that's open now until December 10th, you got to take at least 2 courses. So, but don't just start there. We love it if you take 2, but we would love it if you took 10, right? So, there's lots of great information inside the platform. And so, I just want to encourage you guys. There are so many resources and opportunities, and I want to make sure that you guys have an opportunity to take advantage of them because it is extremely important. All right, so I want to pull up my slide deck for today's presentation. So if you guys could just bear with me 1 second, I'll get it queued up and get it turned into the slideshow, and we will be ready to rock and roll. But for some reason, I can't put it into the slideshow format. Let's see. Uh, you know what? This is in Microsoft. You know what? I tell you what, you guys can see this slide, so we're just going to keep it moving. Okay. So, the first thing I'm here to talk to you guys about today is how to sell and market online. And what I'm really want to teach you all is to how to build an online selling machine, because that's what it's all about. As was mentioned earlier, my name is Melinda Emerson, but my nickname is Small Biz Lady, and I'm regarded as America's #1 small business expert. Believe it or not, I have actually been in business for over 25 years, and I'm the best-selling author of a book called Become Your Own Boss in 12 months. There's lots of things I do, but the things that I really want to point out for you all is that I have an amazing website that's a resource for small business owners called smallbizladyuniversity.com. I also host a podcast every week called the Small Biz Chat Podcast, and I publish a resource blog with over 5,000 articles to help you start and grow and scale a successful business. And my blog is succeedasyourownboss.com. Now, I also consult with Fortune 500 companies, including Verizon and many others. But the thing that I want to point out to you guys the most is that my brand as the Small Biz Lady reaches 1 million entrepreneurs each week online. So I have the opportunity to talk to entrepreneurs all around the world every week about the things that they're struggling with. So I'm so excited to have this opportunity today to talk with you all about how to sell and market online. So the three things that I'm going to make sure that we talk about today are: number one, how to grow your revenues online. Number two, how to build a brand online. And three, and this might be the most valuable thing to you all, how to sell online when you don't have money to buy ads. Because I think a lot of times people think, I got to buy ads. Well, that's not necessarily the case. And I'm going to give you guys some quick tips and tricks that I know that will help you sell better online. Now, let's talk about online selling. Why is it valuable? Well, first of all, who doesn't like to make money when you sleep, right? When you build a successful online business, you can reach your customers anywhere, anytime, and your overhead is low, right? So it's not free, but it's low. So let's talk about some real numbers. The industry experts say that by 2040, around 95% of all purchases are expected to be via e-commerce. So that is like, listen, no matter what you sell, you need to know how to sell online or you could really be left behind. Now, when it comes to selling online, I think that there is a four-legged stool that supports your business online. And I really kind of want to point out the different legs of this stool. The first leg is your website. You guys, your website is your number one sales tool. It is how you welcome people into your business. So if you have limited resources, I would say start there, because your website is critical. People are going to Google you before they ever reach out to you. So you have to make sure that your website's ready to welcome company. Now, how do you do that? With great content, of course. So you have to develop a content strategy that works for you. If you do not like to write, please do not kill yourself trying to write a blog. That's not you. But you could do a podcast. You could post pictures of your products and services. You could just give out 1 minute little videos every week. It doesn't matter, but you have to figure out some type of content. And by the way, video content converts better than any other type of content. Actually, it converts 62% more than any other kind of content. So think about it. Now, once you have a great website and you have really good, consistent content, where are you going to post it? On social media, of course. So you really do need to be thinking about social media as a channel that you can use to drive leads and sales into your business. Now, do you need to be doing 5 social media sites? No, you need to be doing 1 or 2, and they need to be the 1 or 2 where your best target customer hangs out online. Don't use Facebook because you like Facebook. Use Facebook because that's where your fish are. Now, let me tell you about this online selling thing. The first time that people see your brand or hear the name of your company or see a post on Instagram, they might not necessarily buy from you. Matter of fact, 9 out of 10 times, they're not going to buy from you. But how can you build a relationship with them for when they're ready? Email, right? Because listen, social media is great, you guys, but email is trackable. So I really want you guys to think about how you can use your website, how you can use social media to build an email list. Because if you have an email list of at least 1,000 people or more, you've got the ability to print money. And I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about that more now. So, a lot of times when people struggle with selling online, a lot of times they think they have a money problem. I'm struggling to make sales online. Listen, if you are struggling to make sales online, you have a messaging problem, not a money problem. And what the problem is really, excuse me, what the problem is that you are not communicating who you help, what you offer, and why it matters right now. You got to make it urgent. So if you fix your message, you'll fix your money. And that is really important. A lot of times, people who sell products, oh, they throw their pictures up on Amazon, they throw their pictures up on their website, and they're like, if you build it, they will come. No, that doesn't work in anything. You have to target specific customers with messaging that's relevant and urgent to them. If not, drive down the street and throw money out the window because that's basically the same thing you're doing. All right, so let's drill down about how do you decide what products or services you even want to sell online. Well, there's lots of things you can sell. You can sell books, candles, artwork, food products. Honestly, it doesn't matter. There is somebody selling everything online. But here's some things you want to think about. Who is your target customer? What is their number one challenge? And then what is your solution? Then you got to think about what's going to be your marketing strategy. How are you going to attract and engage your specific customer? Then you got to figure out where you're going to get your products from. Are you making products or are you purchasing inventory? Are you purchasing inventory from overseas? Well, if you are, this tariff business that's going on right now is definitely going to affect your pricing strategy. And that rolls us into the last thing you got to think about. What is your pricing strategy? Now, a very good friend of mine once said, you make money when you purchase your product, not when you sell it. And his name is John Lawson, and he's actually another expert on the Digital Ready platform. So if you guys are interested in learning even more about e-commerce, you got to check out John's courses on the platform. Now, what does it take to manage an e-commerce business? Well, number one, you got to have money, right? You got to set up your website. You got to get your marketing going. You got to get your initial inventory. You also have to be motivated because it's hard. If you run an e-commerce business, usually that's a solo enterprise. You are by yourself making all of the decisions, and that's tough. You also have to have technical know-how, right? You have to be able to take good pictures of your products and make sure they're on a white background, right? So there's all kinds of things you have to understand. And then you have to build a brand. The difference between selling stuff and building a brand is like you can sell one thing, but you brand a business. There's reasons why we all believe in Nike and Coca-Cola and Google. They have spent a lot of time and money branding themselves, and you should too, unless, of course, you're only selling one product, which why would you only sell one product, right? So, but the end of the day, it's all about your consistent effort. It's not going to happen overnight. You're going to have to pay attention to your competitors. You're going to have to pay attention to your keywords to make sure that your product descriptions are even attracting the people that you want. So there's a lot that goes into being a successful e-commerce business, and you got to be ready because there are no get rich quick schemes out here. There just really aren't. Now, let's talk about the 9 things that you need to know about how to run an online business. Number one, the competition is fierce. It is not just about the competitors 30 miles around you. Your competition is global and they are relentless and there are no rules online. It's kind of like the wild, wild west. Literally, someone can go and swipe all of the content off of your website, every word, and have a new website up in hours. And they are your competition using your own information. So that's why you have to build audiences on and off your website. That's another reason why email is so important. So you want to develop a niche target audience. You don't want to pursue just any customer. You must be the best solution for a specific niche customer. You also have to make sure that you do very specific things to fight isolation. It's lonely working for yourself and trying, but it's a lot better if you build a network of other business owners so that you can have a support system. You don't want to just be staring at a blank screen hoping somebody buys something on your Amazon shopping cart. You don't want to do that. You want to have a friend or a buddy that can help you, that can talk you off the ledge, that can tell you about great resources and where they found great packaging materials and things like this. Now, the other thing you've got to think about are your product descriptions. Your product descriptions are really the most important thing about an e-commerce business because you have the power to make or break your conversion rate. Think about it. I mean, how many times have you watched television and you saw a commercial and the commercial was of a hamburger and it was really close up on the hamburger and it's almost like it's still um, sizzling when you're looking at it and the cheese is melting off of it and they're describing it and it's slowly turning and it's like making you hungry while you're looking at it. It's the same kind of thing. You want to describe your products so specifically that people will not be able to touch them or feel them, but they'll have this little emotional connection that makes them feel like they have to have it. That's how important product descriptions are. The other thing you got to think about is content. I know that sometimes people with product businesses don't think they have to have a content strategy. That's crazy. Everybody has to have a content strategy. You want to make sure that you are the obvious choice. So you might say to yourself, okay, small biz lady, I sell a hair product. Well, how much content could I create? Well, let's just say you have a natural hair care product. Well, I have natural hair. So let's just go with that. Why wouldn't you do tutorial videos teaching people how to take care of their natural hair? And then every so often, pop in that you have an amazing, mousse or hair gel that is special for people with natural hair. That's what I mean by content. It's not necessarily a bunch of blog posts. It could be, let's say you sell a sweet honey. Um, well, you could create so many recipes, so many drinks with sweet honey, right? So you don't think about the product per se. I want you to think about how that product could be used and demonstrating that as part of your content. The other thing you want to always encourage people to do is give you an online review. I don't know about you guys, but whenever I go to Amazon and I'm buying something for the first time, if 1,000 people haven't bought it, I'm not even clicking on it. If there's 9 people that have bought it, 2 people that have bought it, they ain't ready for prime time. I don't know who these people are. But if 1,000 people have bought it and you can see, 10 to 15 really quality reviews, honest reviews that don't sound like your brother or cousin put them up there, right? That stuff sells because a third party endorsement is far more valuable than any endorsement that you could give yourself. Now, let's talk about the last 3 things you want to really think about as you're building your online business. Number one, you need to watch industry trends. You want to pay attention to fashion insights, consumer behavior, certainly the economy as well. You want to make sure that you can take advantage of trends that are coming down or that you can position yourself for the big holiday toy, right? So you want to make sure that you are paying attention to your industry associations and just even the regular business news. Do you subscribe to the, business journal in your town? Are you reading the New York Times or Wall Street Journal? That kind of stuff will help you understand what's going on out there. And then learn how to friend raise. Relationships are critical in business, and you must learn to become fast friends with your vendors, with your bank, and with your customers. So, personal touches, picking up the phone, thanking people for their business, sending a handwritten note after someone purchases from you. These are all things that you put in the good column so that people know you care. You're not just selling stuff. And lastly, be wise. You want to launch your business with actually being a business, right? You want to incorporate an LLC. You want to make sure you're saving 30% for your taxes. This isn't free money you're out here making. And I want you to make sure that you have incorporated a business and that you're running your business well and staying on top of your accounting and your taxes. As well as those of you that sell products, you need to make sure that you have a lawyer as well. Because if you sell something that turns somebody's hair green or breaks or something like that, you could also be subject to a liability lawsuit. So you do want to make sure that you have, an attorney, a banker, and a CPA, somebody helping you with the back office stuff of your business so that if you ever run into an issue, you've got resource people already who know you and know your business who would jump in there and help you and defend your brand. One of the things that I've particularly seen is I've seen companies have their brand stolen by their manufacturers, and products, identical products put up on Amazon. Amazon spends a lot of money defending people's copyright and trademarks if you bother to trademark it, right? So you've got to make sure that all of your paperwork around your business is in order, especially if you have invented a product. But even that, your brand name of your company, those are things that need to be trademarked as well. So you want to make sure that you are have these people in place, that you're not just selling stuff, but that you're actually running a business, because that is critically important. Now let's talk about branding. You brand a name and you market a product. So the difference between selling a product and running a business is branding, right? Unless you're just selling one thing. So it's very important for you to think about the brand name of your business. For example, my name is Melinda Emerson, but my brand is Small Biz Lady, and my company is Small Biz Lady Enterprises. And all of our assets have the word Small Biz Lady in front of them. Why? Because that is a trademark name that we own, that we have copywritten, and nobody else can be the Small Biz Lady but me. So that's what I mean by branding. Now, I want you to think about branding like this: is really your brand is your consistent values of your company, and your marketing is taking one good shot at sales. So that's how I want you to think about it. It's like your brand is your culture. It's who you are. It's why you started your business. It's what you believe in. It's your brand promise to your clients when they buy from you. So your brand is very important. But you also want to communicate your value proposition, right? Messaging is everything. You want to make sure that you are communicating your solution, because if you don't, your customers may overlook your products and services. So make sure that when you talk about your brand, that value proposition is in there as well. For example, I'll use my business again. My name is Small Biz Lady. My mission is to end small business failure. That is my value proposition. But that's also our brand promise. Everything we do emanates from these four words: end small business failure, right? So it is very, very important that you think about that for your brand. And it doesn't matter whether you sell food, you sell hairbrushes, it doesn't matter. You got to have a brand promise. Now, let's talk about being consistent with your branding. You want to make sure that no matter where your brand shows up, it is consistent, right? You want to make sure that your logos are the same, that the information on your social media is the same as what you find on the business website. And certainly, your customer experience is your brand too. Who answers the phone? How fast do you get back to people? When people leave you voicemail messages, what is your response time? Depending on the type of business you are, nobody wants to buy from people who are anonymous on the internet. So you want to make sure that you can be found, that your information's out there, that you guys have gone out there and you've claimed your Google My Business, real estate, so that people know that you're an absolutely legit business. It is extremely important. And then your customer engagement. How easy is it for people to reach you on your website, across social media platforms? All of that is your brand as well. But here's the thing: your brand is an evolution. It's always going to be under construction. So, building a brand is a slow process. It takes time to win customers, to build trust, and really to communicate the character of your business. Very important. So now let's talk about how to get sales when you do not have money to buy ads. This is very important. Number one, you want to make sure that you have really effective landing pages for every one of your products. You want to do live product demonstrations as much as possible if that's the kind of business that you have. You also want to show your personality to potential customers. Don't just make everything about the product. Show the people behind the product. Show the process of putting your product in the box with the tissue paper and two pieces of candy and closing up the box, right? You want to show people your team, the people behind. When you get a big delivery of raw, materials, show the truck backing up to the building delivering your materials. Like all of this really good behind the scenes stuff, people are interested in it. They want to know the people behind the business. You can also send freebies to influencers, right? Everybody loves gifts. So, that's another way to get your products out there. You should all be using SEO for your web pages if you're operating just a web page that you're selling from. But even if you're putting a product listing on Amazon, it should be SEO optimized. You certainly could launch a crowdfunding campaign as well. Now, a lot of times people think about crowdfunding in terms of the money, but let me tell you guys something. The average crowdfunding campaign in America only generates $10,000. So it's really not about the money. You know what's more important than the money? The customer list, the people that are interested. So think about a crowdfunding campaign a little bit different because, first of all, it's a ton of work, it's a big distraction away from your business, but you can do it if you have a unique product and you have a great story about why you created that business. A crowdfunding campaign really could be effective for you. But if you don't have those things, don't waste your time because you really need to focus on your business. You always want to run surveys. Ask people what they want. Ask people what they're willing to pay. Ask people if they like your packaging, right? There's so many things you can do. But here's the thing. You hate to fill out surveys, and so does everyone else. So you want to make sure that you give incentives for people. And it could be something as simple as a $5 Starbucks card, or access to your products early, or a free ebook or something. It doesn't have to be something super expensive, but people's time is the most valuable thing they can give you. So it's really important that you do something at least small to appreciate someone's time. And certainly you can do affiliate marketing. If you can figure out who already has access to your target customer and partner with them and give them a little bit of commission for the introduction, that's a win, 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 right? So you want to think about who already has access to your customer because that is a great way to build a friendship, a partnership, and a situation where everybody wins. All right. Well, I have a free resource for you guys that I want to give you, but we'll talk about that in just a second. So the last thing I want to talk about in terms of making sales online without buying ads is you can also do a media stunt. But now listen, you're only going to get to do a media stunt once. So you better make it count. It's one of those go big or go home kind of things. You also can get your product featured in a gift guide. There's always gift guides, Mother's Day, Father's Day, back to school, New Year's. There's all kinds of gift guides you might want to get your product in. So that's another way. You can also create an amazing free offer like a lead magnet. One of my lead magnets is top 50 lead magnet ideas, right? So there's lots of free resources that you can create. And then you can just start publishing content. If you publish good content consistently, people will find you. People will be interested in what you have to say. And so there's lots of different ways you can do things to get attention, but you just want to you don't have to do all of these things. Try one or two, right? Like don't make yourself crazy, but don't put your head in the sand and then say you can't get customers either. Because I would be willing to believe it's because you're not putting forth the right strategic effort. All right. Now, here's my free resource I want to give you guys. It is called Your First Five Customers Online. It is an ebook that I created just for you guys. So, here is the QR code for you to download my free resource. If you're unable to use this QR code, you can go to my landing page on here called talkac/small biz lady. And when prompted, just give them the code GEHC. And there you have it. Now, I do have a little survey in there that's going to ask you some information about how you enjoyed this material and if you have any helpful feedback for me. But basically, it's a free resource, and this is the best way to get it. So, for those of you that have any questions or challenges with it, just put it in the chat. We can pop it the link in the chat as well. Um, so now I just want to leave you guys with some next steps. If everybody has had the chance to get that, I want to make sure that you guys know my recap of this information so that you guys can get this and roll and start making money. It's holiday time. Everybody needs extra money. All right. So the first thing I want you to do is audit all of your online sales channels. Where are you actually getting business from? And then I want you to look at your offer and maybe refine it if you need to. Refine your product descriptions. Maybe you need to refine your target customer and build a new lead magnet for your website so that you can continue to build your email list. And lastly, make sure you strengthen your follow up systems. Email is the best follow up system there is. And just remember this, people don't buy what they understand, they buy when they feel understood. So always show empathy, and that goes a long way to winning a customer. Now, with that, I am going to open it back up to Nikki and we'll take some questions. I'm going to put the QR code back up too. So if anybody wants that or needs that, they'll be able to still have that.
That sounds great. It's in the chat too, so they've got it in the chat if they scroll through and see that. Well, first of all, I want to say that you have some wonderful comments in the chat. You are fantastic, Melinda. Love the personality, all of that sort of stuff. So, great. And I found it myself very, very helpful. Okay, so some of the things that is in the chat. One of them is, would this work with a horse riding business? And I'm not quite sure what the this is. I'm guessing the marketing strategy.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Yeah, the best way, I mean, everybody can't come see the horses before they book a ride. So, absolutely, you could show videos of, kids having parties at the, horse riding facility. You can, testimonials of satisfied customers when they, brought their kid that was scared of horses. And the next thing you know, they love horses. If you allow people to brush the horses or feed the horses, there's tons of stuff you could do with a horse riding business to promote it online for sure.
yeah, and if that was not the way that question was geared, then re-put it in the chat if it was different, because I'm not sure exactly if they were talking about the marketing or the Verizon or which piece of it.
Okay.
Okay, the next one is, I am reasonably tech savvy and have purchased a Blue Yeti microphone, plus I have an external webcam. Is that enough to record social media videos? Any tips for how to learn the ins and outs of creating videos?
Well, YouTube University is a great teacher with this. I do believe we have some content about this on the Verizon Digital Ready platform as well. Now, if you have a great microphone and you have a camera, the one thing I didn't hear you say is that you have lights. You need some lighting. So get you a good ring light, get you a good fill light. I have three lights in front of me right now. So just know you want to make sure that you don't look like you're trying to conceal your identity online. The microphone's great, the camera's great, but you gotta have lights. If you got lights, you're out here winning.
Great, thank you. Next one is, what would you do for content for a consultant or coach without giving away their knowledge or process for free so that they don't purchase your services? So I'm guessing, how would you do that without giving away too much?
Well, first of all, you got to think about it differently. I'm a consultant and a coach, and I give away all my stuff online because it doesn't matter if they can't execute it. It doesn't matter if you give it away. Honestly, I feel like you have to do this. You have to give your best stuff away in your lead magnet if you ever hope to have someone pay you for it. If you just breadcrumb people and you don't really solve a problem for people with your content, nobody's paying attention to you. And I've built a multi-million-dollar business giving away content for free online for the last 17 years. So, I mean, I don't give away my books. You got to buy those. Like, even all the information today, I shared a ton of information today. I'm pretty sure it overwhelmed most of the people that heard it. Right? So, it really, I feel like you have to give to get. I mean, now, do you give your whole signature process and tell people exactly how to use it? No, you tell people that you have a process, right? Now they got to come work with you to execute it because it's way too complicated for somebody to just, simply do. But if you put it in a book, you've already given it away, for $16. So I think you've got to think about it differently. I love doing free presentations in front of people because that's the best way for me to demonstrate my expertise, whether it's a webinar, whether it's a panel presentation, whether it's an ebook, whether it's my blog. You know, I write my blog, then Entrepreneur calls me and asks me to write for them. Then the New York Times asked me to write for them. Then Verizon called and said, "Hey, would you like to be a national spokesperson for us?" All of those things came because of the content that I published. So I think I want you to think about, you know, small doses of your content that you could give away that wouldn't cannibalize your business.
Great, thanks, Melinda. And you had mentioned just now the ring light, and somebody said, what other type did you mention?
You want to fill light. So I really like cowboy lights if you can find them. The good thing now is that if you guys go on Amazon and just look up, home studio lights, there's a ton of them and they're not expensive. You shouldn't pay more than 200 bucks for any of these light systems. But you need at least two. I love a good ring light because ring lights have dimmers on them, so you can make them brighter or darker as needed. But I like 3-point lighting, but I also have a broadcast production degree, and so I'm real particular about lighting. But but if you go on Amazon and just start Googling around and looking for lighting, you'll find some good stuff.
Sounds good. I just have a window in front of me, so the sunshine's coming in. Natural lighting, probably not the best.
Well,
Okay.
I can see you, so it's fine,
Right, right. That's the main thing for this, right? Okay, another question. Marriage and family therapist moving toward a niche of women and couples handling menopause changes.
Mhm.
Any thoughts or advice?
I love that niche. That's so smart. Um, I think you just need to put the content out there. You need to start talking on panels about menopause, like helping men understand menopause and how their partner is struggling. Writing articles about it, doing panels about it, articles about it. I mean, I think it's a fantastic niche. I also think as somebody 50 years old, it's a need. Um, and because people are really struggling and they don't know, and there's not a lot of doctors out there to help folks with menopause. So, if that's what you're doing, you ought to have plenty of customers, plenty of customers.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, any recommendations on getting a business trademark and the fees as well?
Okay, so when it comes to trademark, if you're going to use a lawyer, you have to pay the lawyer fee, and then there is a trademark filing fee. Now, the trademark filing fee is $395 per trademark per category. So it can get a little bit complicated. I do not suggest doing this by yourself. There's some DIY trademark websites out here, but you need a trademark lawyer. And let me tell you why. Because once you file a trademark, the trademark office doesn't even look at it for 6 months when you file it. And if there's an issue, like you need a lawyer to communicate with you, hey, the trademark office rejected this and this is why. And that person helps you figure out your reply and your response. If you just use one of those sites that say, oh, pay us $400 and file your trademarks, you can do that. But if there's a problem, there's no lawyer to call using that. So I personally use an intellectual property lawyer. Because the other thing too is trademarks expire every 10 years, right? So somebody's got to manage and keep up with that. So that's why I suggest using an actual intellectual property lawyer to file your trademarks. If it's copyright things are different, but trademarks is your brand. And you can trademark your name, you can trademark your logo. There's so you certainly, if you have a complicated process, there's also patent attorneys, which is a whole other kettle of fish I won't even get into because I don't have a lot of experience with it. But trademarks I've done, and they're very important, and you want to do them before you even buy your URL.
Great. Thanks, Melinda. We are about out of time. I just want to remind everybody that they can go to the live events page and click on rate this section so that Melinda has some feedback there, and we would love to hear about that. Also, the slides from today will also be there. We started with the wonderful Verizon information. Verizon has a booth. And you can go and take a look about more information on that. And with that, I think we need to stop so we can get time to get into our next session. And the ASL interpreters have a bit of a break. So thank you so much, Melinda. You are just a wealth of information. Melinda's given you lots of tips and tools and ways to connect. So take advantage of that. And thanks again.
And thank you all, and thank you to the interpreters for their help today.
Great. We'll see everybody in the next session.